Episode 6, Zinedine Zidane, the artist of the final touch. In the world of soccer, there are players who execute, and then there are those who elevate. Some are remembered for their stats, others for their longevity. But then, there are a few who are etched into the soul of the sport. Players whose very presence changes the energy of a match. Today's story is about one of them. Zinedine Zidane wasn't just a footballer, he was an artist. A quiet genius who let his feet do the talking. A maestro who painted the pitch with elegance, intelligence, and control. From the crowded streets of Marseille to the summit of world football, Zidane's journey is one of quiet perseverance, elite talent, and lasting impact. This is the story of a player who defined a generation. This is Episode 6, Zinedine Zidane, the artist of the final touch.
Zinedine Zidane was born on June 23, 1972, in La Castellane, a tough district in Marseille, France. The youngest of 5 children in an Algerian immigrant family, Zidane's early years were shaped by concrete, chaos, and culture. His parents, Smail and Malika, raised him with structure and discipline in a working-class environment often marked by poverty and unrest. It was on the rough patches of asphalt in La Castellane that Zidane first touched a football. But even at a young age, there was something different about him. His touch was velvet, his instincts natural. While other kids kicked and chased, Zidane glided and created. At 10 years old, he joined US St. Henri, the local club where his flair caught attention immediately. By 14, he was recruited by AS Cannes, a club that gave him his first real taste of professional training and exposure to the tactical side of the game. He lived with a host family, far from home, adjusting to structure and expectation. But it didn't take long for Zidane to leave his mark. He made his professional debut at 17, and soon after was picked up by Bordeaux, where his technical finesse matured. At Bordeaux, he developed into a playmaker with an unusual combination of power and poise. He wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the loudest, but given the ball, and he'd unlock defenses like a locksmith. It was during this time that Zidane developed the skill that would become his trademark, the pirouette, a 360-degree spin often performed in traffic, gliding out with the ball still glued to his feet. It wasn't flashy for the sake of flair. It was effective, clean, devastating. In 1996, his performances earned him a move to Juventus, one of Europe's most elite clubs. Italy's Serie A in the 90s was a battleground, tactical, brutal, and unforgiving. But Zidane thrived. Under coach Marcello Lippi, he adapted to the physical demands of the league, sharpened his vision, and delivered trophies. 2 Serie A titles, a Supercoppa Italiana, and regular Champions League finals appearances defined his time in Turin. But more than the silverware, it was Zidane's command of the game that stood out. He played like he saw the game in slow motion, always a step ahead. He dictated tempo, navigated chaos, and found rhythm where others saw panic. And then came 1998, the FIFA World Cup. Hosted in France, Zidane, now 26, entered the tournament with the weight of a nation on his shoulders. France had never won a World Cup. The pressure was immense, the expectations suffocating. But in the final, against the mighty Brazil, Zidane rose. He scored not once, but twice, both headers from corner kicks. Precision, power, timing. France won 3-0, and a nation erupted. Zidane had delivered glory, and in doing so, became a national hero. From that day, he was more than just a footballer in France. He was a symbol of unity, of multiculturalism, of calm confidence under pressure. He showed a country divided along racial and social lines that excellence could rise from anywhere, even from the asphalt courts of Marseille. In 2001, Zidane moved to Real Madrid for a then-world record fee of €77.5 million. The Galactico era had begun, and Zidane was its crown jewel. It didn't take long for him to make history in Spain. In the 2002 UEFA Champions League final, against Bayer Leverkusen, Zidane scored what is widely considered one of the greatest goals in the tournament's history, a left-footed volley into the top corner. One chance, one movement, one masterpiece. That goal didn't just win Madrid the title. It captured what Zidane was all about: balance, bravery, and beauty in motion. He continued to deliver for club and country, but as all great careers do, his time began to wind down. Yet, there was still one more chapter, and it would be unforgettable. In the 2006 World Cup in Germany, Zidane, at age 34, came out of international retirement. It was supposed to be a farewell tour. Instead, he turned it into a final act of brilliance. He carried France to the final, scored against Spain, dismantled Brazil, and in the final, against Italy, scored a Panenka penalty, chipping the ball in off the crossbar in a World Cup final. The audacity, the genius. Then, the moment that stunned the world. In extra time, after an exchange of words with Marco Materazzi, Zidane turned and headbutted the Italian defender in the chest. Red card. Sent off. His last act in professional football. A tragic end, but not a tainted legacy. Because Zidane was never just one moment. He was a body of work. A lifetime of elegance, power, discipline, and intelligence. He retired with 108 caps for France, 31 international goals, a World Cup, a European Championship, a Champions League, league titles in Italy and Spain, a Ballon d'Or in 1998. After retirement, Zidane turned to coaching and stunned the footballing world again. As manager of Real Madrid, he won 3 consecutive Champions League titles, a feat never done before. Just as he controlled the game as a player, he managed with clarity, composure, and quiet authority.
Zinedine Zidane wasn't the loudest voice in the room. He didn't need to be. His game spoke for him, fluent in every dialect of football. From Marseille to Madrid, from World Cup triumph to coaching immortality, Zidane didn't just play the game. He changed the way it could be played. With grace under pressure. With art in motion. In the next episode, we turn the focus back to youth development, specifically the foundations of training at an early age, how talent is nurtured, and what parents, coaches, and players must do to build toward excellence. It's the first in a multi-part series diving deep into the grassroots journey of becoming a player. Until then, keep your mind sharp, your touch sharper, and remember, legends aren't born. They're built. This is the 90-Minute Mind.